Front and Center. Front and Center. A focus on important and significant developments affecting the lives of Filipinos, not only in the Philippines, but also those living and working around the world. Join us in Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Welcome to Front and Center, where we focus on developments in the Philippines, legislation that provides policies and directions that strives to promote a better economy for the country, issues that concern the welfare and well-being of every Filipino. All of these and more will be Front and Center. You can watch this program live on our Facebook page, Radyo Pilipinas World Service. And you can catch up this program on our YouTube channel, that's Radyo Pilipinas World Service. And you can hear us live on our audio streaming at Evox PBS Receiver app. So join us for another edition of Front and Center with your host, Jerome Toledo.
Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Over the weekend, Tropical Storm Ramil has ravaged some parts of the country, particularly in some parts of Luzon and in Visayas, and it affected many families and individuals over the weekend. So to get us to give us an update regarding the aftermath of the onslaught of Tropical Storm Ramil, we have now on the line the Deputy Administrator of the Office of Civil Defense, Assistant Secretary Rafael Alejandro IV. Good morning, Aseka Alejandro. Thank you so much for joining us in the program here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This is Jerome Toledo.
Yes, Rom. Good morning. Good morning to all.
Good morning. So let me start with this by asking this Asek Alejandro. So how many people lost their lives during the onslaught of Tropical Storm Ramil over the weekend?
Over the weekend, nakakuha tayo ng report on casualty, seven dead victims and one injured. No, The five is from the.
Okay. So we'll try to have Assistant Secretary Alejandro on the line again as we get initial information that 7 people are reported casualty. But okay, so I think Assistant Secretary Alejandro is back on the line. Okay, so you mentioned about 7 casualties and 1 injured.
Yes.
Go ahead.
This came from the 5 is from Quezon, no? Ito yung one family na nahulugan ng puno, and then 2 from Region 6, 1 from Rojas and 1 in Capiz, no? Ibisan. And yung injured natin is yung lone survivor doon sa Pitogo, Quezon incident. So 7 po ito, and ito nga nakakalungkot, but this is the casualty account that we got, and sana ito na lang po. Wala pong no missing reported. In fact, the effects of Ramil is very minimal in general, no, except for Panay Island na doon talaga nagbuhos ng ulan at nagkaroon ng massive floodings. So, but for Bicol, Southern Luzon, medyo very minimal ang effect. That's why ang concentration natin ngayon is in Rojas City in Panay Island.
Okay, so so to speak, so 2 regions are affected in terms of casualties. So that's the Western Visayas and in Calabarzon in Southern Luzon.
Yeah, in Quezon.
In Quezon.
The family that was
all right.
In Pitogo.
Okay. So, do you receive any report that communities across the region, particularly in Western Visayas and Calabarzon, have we received report of flooded communities?
Yeah, we got reports ng flooding, 15 areas, no, specifically in Panay Island in Rojas City, na nag-declare na ng state of calamity yung Rojas, no. That's Region 6. And then, of course, as a result of Ramil, 461 barangays covering not only Region 6 but also Region 5 and Calabarzon, 461 barangays were affected, covering 56,000 families. No? So, yun po. But in terms of effects talaga, we are looking at Panay Island or Region 6, wherein we receive reports on damaged roads and bridges, but DPWH is validating these reports as we speak.
I see. Okay, so what sectors were mostly affected by this tropical storm, Ramil?
Yung sectors, eight localities reported power outages. Some bridges and roads in Panay were reported to be damaged. But again, these are all subject to validation. But so far, assistance provided, umaabot na po ng halos 4 million. That is augmentation to the local government units.
I see.
In terms of housing damages, 68 as of this morning, 11 totally, and 57 partially damaged houses.
Okay, so 4 million pesos worth of assistance coming from DSWD, or Department of Social Welfare and Development.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
These are basically augmentation to what we already downloaded in those affected areas.
Okay. So focusing on I think Western Visayas and also Eastern Visayas, I think we received a report that they were affected by recent earthquakes, and at the same time they were hit by Tropical Storm Ramil, which caused flooding in the area. So how is Civil Defense address the effects of earthquake and the floods caused by the storm? So it's a combined effect.
Right now, we are addressing multiple areas due to different hazards that affected them. So in Cebu, we have this earthquake. So in Bogo City, wherein we're still doing some early recovery activities like setting up camps, finalizing transition shelters, and at the same time providing sustained relief assistance to the different communities. We are also responding in Masbate due to the previous typhoon that affected Masbate. So all in all, we are right now we have 3 active response, one in Cebu, one in Davao, and one in Masbate, plus this one in Panay. That's the 4th area. So as far as resources are concerned, we still have enough resources. We are actually preparing until December, because
we have 3 to 4 storms.
Expecting 6 to 7, 3 to 4 or 6 to 7, based on the forecast of Pag-asa. That's why we're still on full alert. We will maintain that alertness all throughout. Good that after this typhoon, Ramil, we don't see any formation yet. It will give us a breathing room to prepare for the next. So as far as resources, we have enough from the SWD, from OCD, DOH. We have our own quick response funds available, and in compliance also to the directive of the President for us to be proactive. We are procuring advanced materials, that we will preposition to different strategic areas just to prepare for any storms that may come until December.
Okay. Assistant Secretary Alejandro, so we're talking about the Department of Health. So how is OCD coordinating with Department of Health? Because evacuation centers can be jam-packed by evacuees, and we have an ongoing influenza-like illnesses spreading now. So how are OCD coordinating with DOH?
We have this facility called the Interagency Coordination Cell, wherein there are representatives from DOH that can directly coordinate with us as far as their requirements are concerned. So we replicate this platform at the regional and even at the provincial level just to ease coordination. So immediate coordination is being made in terms of providing additional logistics that DOH might need. Example, moving supplies from Manila to Cebu or Davao. We're doing that. And we are also facilitating the immediate restoration of health facilities so that we can decongest existing facilities that are overwhelmed, like provincial hospitals. So one of our strategies is to set up emergency medical facilities in different camps or evacuation centers, and also restoring or rehabilitating immediately existing facilities that were damaged. So we're doing these things simultaneously, and we're making sure that logistics and funds are available for DOH together with DPWH so that they can do the rehabilitation also. But for resources and other supplies, we are continuously coordinating with DOH on replenishing their QRF and also assisting them in prepositioning these goods.
And it's good that all of the government agencies involved in disaster preparedness and risk reduction are coordinating well, and they are prepared for these not just in storms but in onslaught of earthquakes and other natural calamities that may hit our country. So, before I let you go, Assistant Secretary Alejandro, your message to our kababayans in Western Visayas and also in Calabarzon that were hit by the tropical storm Ramil.
Yeah. Our message is that we should always be prepared, stay prepared. The government is there to assist, no? We would like to ask our communities, our people on the ground to cooperate sa ating mga authorities,
Right.
follow instructions, and be assured that we are closely working with your local government units so that resources and other needed materials will reach your community. So
Okay.
with that, stay calm and stay alert, and rest assured of continuous government assistance.
Okay, just one follow-up. Sorry, Assistant Secretary Alejandro. So what about the bridges and also roads affected? What's your status on that? Do you receive any reports?
On what po?
On affected roads and damages?
Yeah, we are still doing the assessment with DPWH. As soon as we get them, we'll give an update. But rest assured, the DPWH has resources and funds to immediately repair those damage. So wala pong problema yan.
I see.
Meron pong QRF ang DPWH and they can do immediate repairs.
Since we're
But so far, wala naman pong isolated or those areas na hindi ma-reach. But continuous po ang trabaho ng DPWH natin.
all right. So because we're talking about the logistics of delivering and sending those relief to our kababayan.
We are making sure that we're making sure that our road networks are open and usable po.
Okay. All right. Well said. And with that, thank you so much, Assistant Secretary Rafael Alejandro, the Deputy Administrator of Office of Civil Defense, for giving us update regarding the tropical storm.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right. That was the Assistant Secretary of the Office of Civil Defense, Rafael Alejandro IV. And when we come back, we will talk about the developments regarding the indictment that was filed against some executives of Smartmatic Group and the former COMELEC Chairman Andres Bautista. We will have the COMELEC Chairman on the line when Front and Center returns here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Mas pinadali na ang government transactions sa tulong ng eGov.ph Super App. Pwedeng-pwede mo nang magawa ang lahat ng ito. I-download ang eGov app sa iyong smartphone o tablet mula sa App Store o Google Play Store. Pagkatapos, ilagay ang iyong mobile number at i-authenticate gamit ang one-time PIN o OTP para marehistro ang iyong account. Saka ilagay ang iyong mga pangunahing impormasyon at kumpletuhin ang facial recognition technology para sa verifikasyon ng iyong pagkakakilanlan. Para sa mas mabilis at mas maayos na serbisyong panggobyerno, gamitin na ang eGov.ph Super App.
Itinuloy na po natin ang zero balance billing. Libre po. Ibig sabihin, ang serbisyo sa basic accommodation sa ating mga DOH na ospital, wala nang babayaran ang pasyente.
Ang dami pong challenge, hindi po namin alam kung saan namin kukunin, ganon, nag-iisip kung paano namin mababayaran. Siyempre po, masayang-masaya, super saya po dahil na zero billing po kami. Opo, malaking po talaga, malaking tulong po. Mabilis lang din po.
Bayad na ang bill ninyo. Uulitin ko, wala nang kailangan bayaran ng pasyente basta sa DOH Hospital dahil bayad na po ang bill ninyo.
Naiiyak ako kasi sobrang saya. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President Bongbong Marcos Jr. Hindi kami nagkamali ng taong hinalal.
And welcome back to Front and Center here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Still with me, Jerome Toledo. And just last week, particularly on a Thursday, October 16, the United States Department of Justice has charged several cases against three executives of the Smartmatic Group. So they are Roger Alejandro Piñate Martinez, Jorge Miguel Vasquez, and Eli Moreno, and the former chairman of the Philippine Commission on Election, Mr. Andres Bautista. According to the press release of the U.S. Justice Department dated October 16, four individuals were charged in connection of the $1 million or more than 50 million pesos in bribes that the voting technology company paid to former Philippine election official to obtain and retain business from COMELEC, including the release of favorable value-added tax or VAT reimbursements and other contractual payments for the benefit of the SGO Corporation Limited, which also known as the Smartmatic and its affiliates. Moreover, in the same press release of the U.S. Justice Department, they said that the bribery was conducted by co-conspirators by allegedly creating a slush fund by over-invoicing the cost per voting machine supplied for the 2016 Philippine election. So that was a 2016 presidential elections. And to conceal the corrupt payments, they used the coded language that's still part of the press release coming from the U.S. Justice Department. They used coded language, created fraudulent contracts and sham loan agreements, and routed transactions through bank accounts in Asia, Europe, the United States, including within the Southern District of Florida. And to give us the reaction of the Commission on Election regarding this development, we have now on the line the chairperson, the current chairperson of the Commission on Elections, none other than Attorney George Erwin Garcia. Good morning, Chairman Garcia. Thank you so much for joining us in the program of Front and Center on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Jerome, good morning to all the listeners of your program.
Okay. So one question. So we'd like to get your reaction or statement regarding the superseding indictment that the U.S. Department of Justice filed against these executives of Smartmatic and also the former chairman of the Commission on Election.
Sir Jerome, you see, this is, I think, a supplemental indictment already, because just last year, the USDOJ already charged the three executives of the said corporation, including the former chairman of the Commission on Elections. Now, they included already the corporation, not only the executives, for purposes of filing a supplemental charge. So we're hoping and we're expecting that perhaps in the second quarter, or at least first quarter of next year, the trial will now proceed as is, and the trial will be completed before the end of the year of 2026.
Oh, okay. So you're looking forward for the trial of these individuals involved in this case, particularly this bribery case. Okay. So in the case of former COMELEC Chairman Andres Bautista, so do you see any internal system or personnel within COMELEC or even outside COMELEC that may have been involved or enabled the allegations of corruption in 2016 general elections, particularly the presidential elections? So how soon the COMELEC will start its own investigation?
No, when we learned 2 years ago that the USDOJ was conducting an investigation, and they likewise coordinated with us, secured our assistance for purposes of verifying documents, verifying dates, and talking to our personnel, especially members of the Bids and Awards Committees and certain directors of the Commission on Election. We fully participated, we fully assisted, and that's in accordance with the Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty between the United States and the Philippines. And the one that was used as conduit for this cooperation and coordination was the Philippine DOJ. So we fully gave them everything that they needed. And at the same time, we likewise conducted our own internal investigation. Because when the first charge sheet was filed by the USDOJ to the district court in Florida, we were properly guided by the documents, the dates, the facts, and the circumstances as contained in the charge sheet, especially those that were determined by the USDOJ as contained in the communication in the WhatsApp conversation of top executives. So We likewise conducted our own investigation. In fact, we are about to complete the investigation until the last week when the USDOJ again filed a supplemental indictment. So we are about to finish, and in fact, in truth, perhaps there will be certain officials within the commission election, which are still presently employed in the COMELEC, that might be included also in the possible cases that the COMELEC will be filing.
Okay, so should the COMELEC finish its own investigation, you will forward this to the U.S. Department of Justice for addition.
In the meantime, we're going to forward this to our to our Office of the Ombudsman,
okay.
and secondly, perhaps to the Commission on Audit. We will not forward immediately our findings to the USDOJ simply because we do not want to preempt the action of our own agencies in charge of the issue of corruption and the issue of graft. You see, we have to understand that the U.S. acquired jurisdiction over these cases because of the issue not of bribery. The issue of bribery is within the jurisdiction of the Philippine government, but because of the issue of money laundering. Meaning to say that the money that flowed from one bank to another in the United States, according to U.S., was as a result of bribery conducted and which was perpetuated here in the Philippines. So as far as the bribery issue is concerned, that is our jurisdiction. As far as the issue of money laundering is concerned, that is the issue with the United States. And that's the reason why the amount as reflected in the indictment in the US is just a very small amount of $1 million compared to the amount that perhaps had to the disadvantage of the Philippine government had been lost because of the transaction that transpired sometime in 2016.
And that's because the Smartmatic wants to have a favorable contract with the COMELEC before, which chaired by Andres Bautista, Chairman George.
Let's see if that will be the findings also of our internal investigation. But I would like to clarify this, Sir Jerome, and this is for everybody to appreciate and be informed of. As far as whether the bribery scandal has any effect as regards the credibility and the integrity of the elections since 2010 until 2022, when the company the head company had been serving the commission election, I would like to assure the public, the Filipino people, that based on our own assessment, based on my own assessment as a practitioner before, during those times, there was not an incident of any substantial change in the results of the votes as contained in the results per machines and as results contained in the ballots, the manually counted. So there is no difference, meaning if there are issues of bribery, it did not affect, again I would like to repeat, it did not affect the integrity of the results of the elections in these years as mentioned.
I see. Okay, so what happened here? So what will be the plan of COMELEC on the future bid of Smartmatic? Should they participate again? I think as far as I know, COMELEC has let go of the Smartmatics as being a provider, and now it's now being replaced by Meter System.
As a backgrounder for the 2025 elections, if people can still remember, we disqualified the said company because of the issue of the integrity, because we got told already of, at that time, some 2 years ago, we got told already of the initial findings, the reports, the documents. We disqualified them. We were brought to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court reversed the COMELEC. The Supreme Court said that the COMELEC was wrong at that time in disqualifying the said company. The Supreme Court said, number one, there is no blacklisting yet of the company. Number two, we should have allowed them to first participate, and that is the only time, according to the Supreme Court, that the COMELEC can disqualify. However, the Philippine Supreme Court did not set aside the result of our bidding, meaning to say, the Supreme Court said they will apply the so-called operative fact doctrine, in which case whatever had happened will be considered valid and it will have only prospective application and it cannot retroact, meaning what we did, which was to disqualify, was wrong, but the Supreme Court said that it will have to be respected as still a valid act of the COMELEC at the time when there was no final ruling yet as to whether we can really disqualify or not.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's clear. Okay, so going back again to the press release of the U.S. Justice Department, particularly the allegation involving favorable VAT reimbursements. So, will COMELEC conduct an audit or review of past transactions and payments to Smartmatic to determine if there were irregularities in those refunds, Chairman George?
We already did conduct the so-called review and again investigation of this transaction, especially in 2016. The amount that's involved is actually more or less 700 million pesos. That's 700 million, and the amount. The jacking up of the price of the machine, which is a separate issue, was more or less about 300 million pesos. It's more or less 1 billion pesos. So what is involved in the United States is only $1 million because again, the transaction that passed through the U.S. banks had amounted only to $1 million. So as far as the Philippines is concerned, our concern is not only the 1 million, but our concern is the 700 million, which was returned when supposedly the COMELEC, the COMELEC is not to return the money because all importations or the use of equipments in relation to automated election are zero VAT. So if you are not to pay zero value-added tax, then why are you returning an amount to the importer who supplied to you the equipment? So that's one of the issue. And the other issue is actually the price of the machine, which for a very short period had escalated to at least 8,000 pesos per additional machine, when the difference was only about one week for the two transactions. So these are the alleged irregularities that the COMELEC is trying to uncover and determine and research as to whether these allegations are true, correct, and really had redounded to the disadvantage of the COMELEC.
All right, and that will be forwarded to in the ombudsman.
Yes, we will now require our investigating panel to submit to the Commission and Bank the final report, and then whatever is the findings or the decision of the COMELEC and Bank, it will be surely forwarded to the Office of the Ombudsman and to the Commission on Audit, and it's up to these offices to make the necessary review as to whether they will see culpability or probable cause to charge certain individuals.
I see. Okay, just a few more questions before I let you go, Chairman George Erwin Garcia. So, what are the moving forward? What are the new safeguards or processes has COMELEC implemented to ensure that the bidding and procurement of election services and machines are clean and transparent?
We always ensured in all procurement processes in the COMELEC the three foundational principles: 1, transparency; 2, accountability; and 3, inclusiveness. So all our procurements are live streamed in the presence of, not more particularly, the stakeholders of the Commission on Elections, the Commission on Audit representatives, and we have to likewise ensure that members of the media will have immediate access, and practically everybody, all entities who wanted to participate will be given their time, their opportunity to participate in our procurement. And so, modesty aside, you cannot. There are no news right now where there are problems when it comes to COMELEC procurement, simply because we institutionalize a lot of things in order to ensure that people will have a greater view and participation of what is happening.
Okay, and the public is knowledgeable, and because these processes were open to the public.
Yes, and we will strictly implement all procurement laws. And in fact, even if certain entities are not invited, we are going to invite them in all our procurements, just to ensure that there will be entities that will say that they were present, and number two, that they really saw for themselves that the entire processes are transparent.
I see. All right. Very well said. And with that, thank you so much, Chairman George Erwin Garcia, the chairperson of the COMELEC, for joining us in the program. And
Thank you very much, Sir Jerome. Thank you very much.
And have a good day. And that was COMELEC Chairman George Erwin Garcia. Okay, so right now we are now being joined by 14 listeners listening right now on our program Front and Center on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Keep listening to this program and some other programs of Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Okay, so they're listening through our audio streaming, and keep listening to our station. And with that, we now conclude this edition of Front and Center here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Together with our technical team headed by Miss Susan Aizon and Justin Osias and Leo Magpayo, this is your host, Jerome Toledo. Until next time, mabuhay.
You have just heard and watched Front and Center. Front and Center. Join us again for another edition here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Front and Center.